Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Round the Fire with Kingsview Safaris. Thank you all very much for joining me today. I'm bringing you another really cool episode. I have been, I wouldn't say overwhelmed. I don't think the podcast is probably that popular, but like I touched on in the past one, the African safari season is full in swing now. Starting to see a lot of the hunting pages and stuff are getting filled up with reports and trophy photos, and it looks like everyone down there is having an absolutely incredible time. I'm seeing a lot of photos from the Eastern Cape, which is making me hell of a homesick and jealous. I wish I was in there in the mix with everybody, but such is life. But because of that, I've been contacted by some really cool people, some excited hunters. I want to share their stories, their photos, and everything. And I think by now, pretty much those who listen to this podcast know that I'm all here for it. I love hunting stories. I love talking hunting any chance I can get. And my guest today joins me all the way from Virginia. I don't think I could probably point it out on a map of America. I'm not clued up on my geography yet, but he's coming to me from Virginia. It is Nathan Lunceford. Nathan, dude, thank you very much for joining me today. How's it going, man?
Oh no, yeah, it's going good. Just got home from work. I'm like telling the kids, oh, I got to get downstairs. I got a very important meeting tonight. So I'm just here to talk with you for an hour or so and talk. My favorite thing to talk about is Africa. So
Yeah, I don't worry, I did the same thing when I got home today. I did the usual running through the house and telling the kids, everyone be quiet. Dad's got a podcast. And I got a rule that if I close my bedroom door and I hang something on the door handle that the kids know that's podcast and you don't go in there. Used to mean something back in the day when I hung something on the door handle. It's a little bit different now. Now it's for kids to
uh,
not disturb dad. But yeah, I'm the same as you. How's how many kids have you got, by the way? You quite a big family man or just one or two?
I've got four.
All right. Okay. You're not
Yeah,
messing around. Four
keeps
kids.
yeah keeps us very busy around here.
I
So
bet it does, but I'm sure you guys probably wouldn't want it any other way.
yeah, no, it's a blessing for sure.
Well,
My
yeah.
oldest. Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. So you carry on.
Yeah, my oldest is 13. He just turned 13. And then my youngest is 4. And then I have 9 and 6.
Okay. Very nice. Have they all got the hunting bug like dad? Are you kind of introducing them into the outdoors?
Yeah, I've taken them. My oldest has been with me to shoot a couple whitetails. Not really into pulling the trigger or anything, but just likes going to sit out there. My 9-year-old, he has shot a turkey. I'm a big turkey hunter. I love
Okay.
turkeys. Um, and my daughter, she's 4, so she hasn't been out there yet. It would turn into a disaster real quick.
Yeah. Give it 2 or 3 years. I'm sure it'll happen
Oh
pretty
yeah,
fast for her. Um,
yeah.
well, yeah, Nathan, pretty much how things work around here. If you could just, I suppose, give a bit of a basic introduction to yourself, let the listeners know who you are, where you're from, kind of your hunting history background, if I can say that. And then one of the things that I'm always fascinated by is where did you get that spark for Africa? What kind of piqued your interest on it, and how did you go about booking your trip?
Yeah. So Nathan Lunceford, I'm from Culpeper, Virginia. Um, kind of just a small town out in the country. It's only about an hour and a half from DC, but
Okay,
it's not in that mixed in with all that Northern Virginia, DC,
right.
crap pretty much. um, yeah, I got 4 kids and a wife, and they keep us plenty busy with sports and all their school activities, and it's just nonstop. My wife handles most of that. I work for UPS, so my schedule is just crazy all the time.
Okay,
Um, but yeah, I started hunting as far back as I can remember. I have a deer actually mounted in the other room. I was born in 1994, and that deer I shot in 2002 or 3. And so I was very young. I was always with my grandpa, chucked up his ass, going outside into the woods. He deer hunted mostly. And yeah, I just remember as far back as possible as, out there toting along my little 20 gauge and little 22, looking to shoot anything that moved pretty much.
isn't
But
it isn't it crazy how we all remember our first year, our first hunting moments, and then when you kind of look back, you're like, man, that was 25, 30 years ago.
yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of,
it's crazy. But I'm absolutely ate up with it. I used to be really ate up with deer hunting, but I got a German short hair pointer now, and this is going to be his first season. So I'm all gung ho on
Oh, cool.
getting out and chasing some birds with him. He's actually at the trainer right now, or else you'd probably see him jumping in here. Um, but yeah, we're heading to Maine actually in October to do some grouse hunting. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, that is nice. I've seen those dogs working. They're absolutely phenomenal. I bet you're excited to get him out there.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, but the whole Spark of Africa thing, it all started the horrid year of COVID.
Hmm.
My buddy booked a Cape Buffalo hunt in Africa, and before that, it hadn't really been on my radar at all. Um, and I'm like, you know what? That sounds, he kept on talking to me. Oh, you should come. You should come. I'm like, I'll look at it. Well, then I ended up booking that trip, and COVID came along, and it got canceled, like everything else Africa wise.
Yeah.
And so he's actually like going after the North America 29 right now. So he still never made it to Africa.
Oh, is that right?
And
Okay. So he
yeah,
didn't end up going with you.
he never even ended up, he's still never been to Africa. And so I went by myself, I'm like, screw it. I've already paid for it. I'm going to go. And ended up meeting up with the guy that was going to the same camp as me on the same flight as me out up in New Jersey. And we kind of just hit it off in the airport, and he was going after buffalo with a bow.
All
And I'm
right.
like,
Okay.
oh man, that's crazy. But yeah, my first trip, I ended up getting two warthogs, Impala, the zebra. There's the two warthogs right there.
I see them.
Um,
Nice.
and
Very, very nice.
and I've got you can't see it, it's at the upstairs a little bit, but I've got a monster steam buck.
Okay.
He's I'm not big into the SCI thing, but he scored like number 50 something in the SCI book. Yeah, he's pretty big.
That's cool. That's cool. Hopefully we can stick in a little photo or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, on the
I'll send
video
you.
for everyone to see. That'll be cool.
Yeah, I'll send
Um,
you. I've got him full body mounted. I'm looking at him, but yeah,
well, I doubt he's going to move.
yeah,
I just want to backtrack quickly. So let me get this straight. Your buddy basically approached you and was like, "Hey, man, let's go to Africa. I've got everything set up." I'm guessing he kind of had the outfitter, everything all lined up for you guys. COVID hit, and then for whatever reason, your buddy couldn't make it, and you ended up going. What did you know of the outfitter beforehand? Did you kind of do research? Did you just be like, "We know what, I trust you, man," and went with it, booked your flights? What was kind of your prep before then?
I didn't know a fucking thing. I just went. I just went with them. I was just like, you know what? I guess it's a good outfitter if he booked with them.
Right.
He goes on all kinds of crazy hunts. The dude's killed polar bear with his recurve, like everything.
Okay. So this is
So
a guy that takes
knows
his
this
hunting
shit.
pretty serious.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
yeah,
Makes sense. Makes sense then.
yeah. So I went over. I think it was 2023 is when I ended up going,
Okay. Nice.
and it's it's been an addiction ever since. That's all I can. Look at my YouTube browser history. It's nothing but Africa. I always said I wanted to get into like elk hunting and stuff like that, but that shit's out the window now.
Yeah. I've heard that kind of saying from a lot of people that they can't quite describe it, but yet it's all they want to talk about and it's all they want to
Yeah,
watch. And it kind of just ticks whatever boxes that they need. And I think I'm sure you can probably relate to this better than what I can. And with you being American in history, but a lot of the guys are starting to say, you know what, I just actually can't afford to hunt in the US anymore. And I start
yeah.
looking at African prices, what I can get, the experiences, and I think that's a big driving factor for a lot of guys. I don't know if maybe you'd agree with that or not.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, look at a moose hunt in Alaska cost you $30,000. What can you could go to Africa for 3 years in a row for 30,000, if not more.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I'm kind of just learning more about the whole tagging system and how things work here. And myself, and my little boy, he's 8 now. He shot his first deer last year, and
Nice.
so he's obviously getting into the YouTube videos. And my dad was a PH, so I've got to hunt, and he's got this whole thing. But we were watching a sheep hunt. I can't remember which one it was, if it was a Dall sheep or whatever, or it was a bighorn. But I remember one of our buddies was over, and we were watching it with them, and my boy said, "Oh, I want to hunt one of those." And I kind of jokingly said, "Well, we should put in for a tag. And my friend looked us dead in the face and he said, no, you probably will. Like he'll have to start putting in for tags now at his age to
Yeah,
eventually get to there. And that type of stuff just blows my mind. How long
it's
people have been waiting for these hunts.
it's crazy. You hear some of like the Arizona, like I know a guy that through Africa that he lives in Oregon and he's been putting in for like I think he said 26 or 27 years to go hunt
Oh,
elk in Arizona. I'm like, that is just crazy. that
yeah, that is. No,
is
it's
just
insane. So again,
and
another
all
reason why people want in Africa.
yeah. Yep.
So let's lead us into your Africa trip then. You kind of your preconceived ideas of what you thought Africa was going to be like versus, let's say, the first 1 or 2 days when you got there. Were you kind of in the same ballpark, or was it just completely new and open to you?
Um, I kind of had based on like YouTube videos and everything, it's all the glamour shots on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh man. I mean, don't get me wrong, everywhere you look, you're gonna if you're on a good property, you're gonna see animals.
Hmm.
But it's not like, it is like the YouTube videos, but at some ways it's not.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, I'm going there and I'm getting this animal and this animal and this animal, and I'm just whacking and stacking. And that wasn't the case at all. The first trip I went with my bow, and
Hmm.
that bow got flung in the back seat after like the second day because I was tired of sitting in a blind.
Yeah.
And the first night in Africa, we took a drive around the property, and there was blue wildebeest running here, and it's when you're not hunting is when I saw all the animals. Because as soon as I got in the blind, it's like, oh, a light switch, and the animals knew I was sitting there. And
Yeah.
so we'd gotten the blind the first evening, and we see this young kudu bull come, and kudu's like number one on my list. And
Right.
I just start shaking uncontrollably. I got the bow in my hand, and the next thing you know, here comes this. He was probably about 50 inches, kudu bull,
Right. Okay.
come out of the brush and right into the water hole, and he's 30 yards, and I'm just shaking like a leaf. And yep, what did I do? I shot right over his back, and I'm like, oh
Ah,
gosh. I'm like, this is
ouch.
not how I wanted to start my trip. But yeah, I've been on two safaris now, and I've still yet to get my kudu bull.
Is that right? Okay. And I'm
Yeah,
guessing the first place you went to was Limpopo. Is that right?
I've been to Limpopo twice. Yep.
Okay. All right.
So the
Oh,
the
but
first
the
trip,
50 incher, that's hard.
yeah, yeah, and I was up by all days the first trip,
Okay.
and then the second trip, I guess I was in more of Western Limpopo, like Northam area,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
and yeah, so yeah, still have yet. I mean, I've seen kudu on both my trips. I like it. We'll back it up to that first safari. I shot right over the back of that kudu, and it just haunted me. I felt so sick to my stomach, and I was like, oh gosh. And I ended up shooting two warthogs with my bow while I was there.
Okay.
But then the impala and the zebra both came with, and the steinbuck all came with a 308.
Okay. All right.
Because
So, which was was your warthog the first two animals that you shot?
um, let's see,
What was your
it was
first African animal?
my first African animal was a zebra.
Okay. Tell us about that because that's always the one that everybody says, it's a horse. I don't want to hunt it. But then 99.9% of the people that do hunt it either say it was one of the most difficult hunts that they've done or they just completely underestimated the animal. Was it the same for you?
Oh, it was crazy. It was so hard to get on. You would think, a zebra, would stand out, but they just blend in so good. And our biggest problem, and I've heard this before, the dang zebras wanted to hang out with the giraffes. And so it's like impossible to get close to them.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I'm still, yeah.
oh, there you go. Okay.
I'm still,
Yeah.
yeah. I was just trying to listen because I love when people say these types of things like the zebra hang out with the giraffe, because then I can always relate back to the hunt that I did, and I'm like, man, it's so true, isn't it? And this is a lot of the times what people
Yeah,
don't understand about going to Africa is that you're going to be focused on your impala, your kudu, whatever it is, and you've been putting on an absolute perfect stalk. Meanwhile, you haven't noticed the giraffe that's watching you, the wildebeest that's watching you. And this is what happens to catch out a lot of people is they just underestimate how many animals are in Africa. And it's not just a simple case of see an animal and put a stalk straight on it. You got to go
yeah.
around the impala. Then you bump a warthog, or I don't know how many times people have told me that baboons barked and scared off their, ruin their sort of thing. So it was obviously for the same with you with the zebra. So did you manage to get in relatively close to them?
The, the only way we could get close to them, they just hung out in this thick brush, and we're like, well, there's the giraffes, and you couldn't like they had had so much rain, the brush was just terribly thick. You
Yeah.
couldn't see anything. So I hate to admit it, but I mean, it is what it is. I had to shoot them off the high rack of the truck because
Okay.
there was no way that you could even get remotely close to them or stalk in or anything because those giraffes were just so on it.
And was there how many zebra were kind of in the herd or in the mix that you're going after?
There was like 8 zebra and like 4 or 5 giraffe,
Okay. Yeah.
and it was from what I understand, the property that we were hunting with, because the outfitter I went with, he's a big Cape Buffalo guy. And so most of his clients are Cape Buffalo hunters, and I
Okay.
wasn't going after Cape Buffalo, so he kind of just put me on this smaller property that the lodge was on, and everybody else kind of went out hunting on, on different properties for buffalo.
Right.
And yeah, and they were just so switched on to anything and everything. You try to walk, nope, they're gone. And we kind of just had to find the giraffes with the truck and do what you do and just take your opportunity.
Yeah. And also when you're trying to, especially for the PHs, when you're trying to distinguish a stallion or a trophy zebra from the mix, it's pretty difficult. I mean, they're not running around with horns, so they're running all the way back and forth, and those stripes can get pretty confusing. So I can imagine if
Oh,
you're out on foot and they're just running left, right, and center, it's difficult to pick out the right one.
oh yeah, yeah. It was very. Which one? The one on the left. All right, boom.
So it was a quick shot.
Yeah, yeah. It was yeah because we had already chased him a couple times, so I'm like, all right, I kind of know I got to be on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he told me
Did you manage to have some zebra meat at all while you were there?
yes, and I did not like it. But I've heard it's
Interesting.
good. I've heard it's good. Like I've heard you guys say it's good and everything, and it's all about the way
Yeah.
you cook it. Maybe it was just the way it was cooked, but I did not like it.
Okay. Well, there we go. I think you're probably the one of the first guys to say that, but it is, especially the removal of the fat. They've got like a thick yellow sort of fat that
Yeah,
runs along the top, and you got to clean that off real good. So, yeah, maybe you got a bit of a dodgy piece there.
yeah, yeah. I don't know, but zebra's on the list when I go to my next trip in 2028. It's on the list, so I'm going to get another one.
Okay. So you kind of got the ball rolling with the zebra. Then did you kind of take off from there? Then you said you got the two warthogs with your bows.
Yeah, I ended up the same water hole that I missed the kudu at. I shot one of these warthogs.
Nice.
Um, yeah, and then there was so I shot the zebra, and then I shot the impala on the same day, and they were just everywhere. There was like 200 of them just running everywhere.
Hmm.
And then I shot a warthog, and then I actually got a baboon too on that first trip. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Let's hear that.
yeah. So the place where I was hunting at was a like a mango orchard farm kind of.
Okay. Yep.
They had citrus farm. They had oranges everywhere, and so all the oranges that had like fallen on the ground and were rotten, they put in like a big pile out in the middle of the farm, and the baboons were just in there just tearing it up. And so me and my PH went over there. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll shoot a baboon. And so we went over there and put up a pop up blind and brushed it in real good. And we got in there and we could hear the baboons barking. And so we just climbed in the blind. And about an hour later, I'm passed out asleep on the ground in the blind, and my PH is hitting me on the leg. And he's like, "Shh, be quiet, baboons." And I'm like, "All right." So I just got up on my knees and I got a big male baboon. He was about 100 yards, and there was just baboons everywhere. It had to be like 100 of them,
Yeah.
just everywhere. It was like right on the edge of the mountains, so they'd go up in the mountains and then come down, and I imagine just raiding the citrus crop.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. They would be.
yeah, and I ended up just dropping them right in the tracks. I have a video of it. I'll send it to you. It's pretty. You
Yeah.
can just see once I shoot the baboon, animals just go running everywhere. Impala and baboon.
And
Um,
obviously, I mean, this is the first time you've seen baboons. What did you
yeah,
kind of think of them once you saw them?
ugly as hell. We actually had one sitting on a like a old stone pillar, like 20 yards from us in the blind, but it was just a
Yeah.
small one. And I mean, they're cool. They're definitely cool, and they're turned on just you know. When you look, I remember driving, and there's a power line that ran through the property, and you could just see forever, and you would just see baboons. You know, as soon as they saw you, they were just taking off running. They were not sticking around, and then you'd have one stop and stand up on its back legs and look back, and yeah, that's they're kind of like a what would you call it? Like a possum almost. The United States, like a little varmint.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm not the biggest fan of baboons, so you're not going to get many comments from me about those hairy bastards at all. So, but that's cool. Did you do anything with it in terms of mounting it or bring back the skull? What was your plans with it?
I wanted to bring back the skull, but I guess it got miscommunicated somewhere in the mix, and I never got it.
Oh no. Oh, that's
Yeah.
unfortunate. Because I would
So,
say probably one compliment about them is that it's a pretty badass skull once it's
oh
bleached and
yeah,
cleaned up.
and his teeth were huge. Those
Yeah.
those canines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they are. I've had many a tussle with baboons, and they're big, scary animals and creatures. And they can do a lot of damage, especially to hunting dogs too, with those teeth. People don't
Oh, I can
realize just
imagine.
how strong they are.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah. But so yeah, this was a 7 day safari, and so at this point, I've got zebra down, impala down, two warthogs, and a baboon. And it's the second to last day, and it's in the evening, and we are like, still trying to the kudu. We could not find them, and they were just, obviously we had trail cameras up, and they would always come after dark. And I'm like, we got to figure out some way to, find out where they're hiding at. Like I said, the brush is so thick, and we just came around the corner one evening, and I just happened to look to my left, and standing 100 yards away, the whole herd of kudu, two or three bulls, cows, everything. And I slapped the hood of on the roof of the truck because we were driving around to this field to try to see if we could maybe see them coming out in the field.
Okay.
And the PH stops the truck, and I'm like, kudu, kudu, right here. And the big bull was standing behind the little bull, and he slowly started to walk out, and I just put the crosshairs right on his shoulder. I still don't know what happened, but I shot him, and he, did the kick like they do. And I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
yeah, I smoked him. And we found blood. And of course, by this point, it's getting dark. We're like, we'll come back in the morning because blood was only, drop here, drop there type deal. And I'm like, oh gosh, I've got the gut wrenching feeling coming back into my stomach. And we went out the next morning with two Jack Russells and like three or four trackers, and we never found them. And I actually rented a helicopter for 2 hours
You did.
to,
Wow,
to
that's commitment.
yeah, I'm like, this is the number one animal I came here for. I'm putting, all my eggs in the basket. I want to try to find this bull. And we flew that property for 2 hours and never did find them. We saw multiple other bulls, but never found my bull. So kind of left Africa. Oh, okay, so that was on the second to last day, and then the last day is when in my package was a blue wildebeest. Well, we had got a shot at a blue wildebeest all week. I don't think there was many on that property.
Okay.
And we'd been seeing this monster Steinbuck all week, but it's some little thing. It didn't really. My PH was like, "That's a monster. You need to shoot it." And I didn't really have that, uh, My daughter's yelling. Take what the bush gives you mentality.
Sure. Sure.
And so I'm like, on the last day, I'm like, you know what? Let's go see if we can find that Steinbuck. And we just went walking down this road, and right, because they don't, from what I understand, they don't have a very big area that
No.
they're very, they
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
hold down a little area.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. And there he was just standing there by a tree. And I just after smoked him, dropped him in his tracks with the 308. I kind of didn't know what I had. And
Sure.
I was just based off my PH's reaction. He was like, "No, this is a freaking monster. Like, you should be very happy about this." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll take your word for it." But yeah, that was kind of my, and I ended up meeting some great people. I still stay in contact with one of the guys that I went to that was in the camp with me on that first trip. He lives in Canada,
Okay.
and he actually just got back from the outfitter that I'm going with in KwaZulu Natal. Um, he went back in April, and he
Okay.
said it was just amazing. You ever heard
Okay.
of Safari Quest Outfitters, Mark Comus?
Yes. Yes. I think I have.
Yeah,
You said that's up in KZN.
yep,
Okay. It sounds familiar. I don't know the guy personally, but it sounds familiar. But
yeah,
that KwaZulu Natal area is such a beautiful area of South Africa and really, really good hunting. Again, I think one of the major underrated parts of South Africa in terms of hunting. So
yeah. And
it-
I am super keen to get over there. I can't wait.
yeah, you'll have a good time. That is pure country for big Inyala, good bushbuck, common reedbuck, really, really nice common reedbuck. So you'll have a
Hmm.
good time there. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know where the areas you're going to be going to, but if you tend to go a little bit more into those, the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands, where you get into that mountainous Drakensberg range, man, the eland bulls up there. I don't know what they feed those things,
Oh,
but they are monsters.
he posted a picture today of a client, and it's just a monster Eland bull. And I mean, they hammer kudu up there too. Free range, low fence cattle ranch kudu
Yep.
bulls. Oh man, I can't wait.
Well, it looks like I might have to pencil you in for another interview after that when you get back. But
Oh yeah,
so these animals you were talking about, that was your first trip.
that was my first trip.
So how long after that until you kind of went into your second trip then?
I tried weaseling my way into the day when I got home, but the wife wasn't having it.
That's a
But
difficult hurdle to get over.
yeah, so I ended up going back last year, 2025.
Okay, same outfitter, same place.
Different outfitter, and this was in the Northam, Western Limpopo.
Gotcha. Yep. Okay. All right.
Different outfitter. I kind of felt the vibe like the first outfitter I went with was mostly, all he posted about is Cape Buffalo and stuff like that. So I kind of, you know, that kind of got the vibe that, maybe I could look for somewhere because I'm not hunting Cape Buffalo.
Hmm.
And so I ended up going with this guy in Northam. I think that's how you say it, Northam. Uh, it's in the Limpopo province. And I had kudu on my list, obviously, number one. And then I sable, blue
Okay.
wildebeest, um, blessed buck. What else? I think that's all I had on this trip.
I see a photo of a giraffe over your shoulder
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah. I'll get into that giraffe. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Please do. Please do.
yeah. So the first day we get there, we get in camp. It's kind of 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. We have dinner, meet up. There's like two other guys and their wives in camp, and so we all have dinner. Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And then we kind of get a game plan going with the owner, and set out on it the next morning. And he was like, "All right, let's go get your sable. I've got a property that's got a nice sable bull, and that needs taken out. So let's go get them." And it took us forever to find him. It took us probably 3 or 4 hours to find him on this property, and he was just tucked up in brush. And one shot, he ran like 40 yards, and there he lay. And he
Nice.
measured out right at 40 inches.
Fantastic.
Yep. And then
Did
My
you
I
sorry to interrupt quickly. When you got that sable, did you manage to, when you get back to the skinning shed, did you manage to see how thick their hide is?
No, I did not.
It's something that I always used to love pointing out to my hunters every time they'd shoot a sable because it's so. I mean, in around the neck there, you're talking about a good inch and a quarter thickness of that skin. It's absolutely remarkable. So I was just wondering if maybe you noticed that too.
No, I didn't. We were so this trip. I don't know what I was thinking, but we only did it for a 5 day safari.
Oh, okay, that's a bit of a tight
Yeah,
schedule.
yeah. So I felt like the whole like I felt like being on such a tight schedule, rushing it really. I really killed it, the vibe for myself. Like I always felt like I was rushed, like I needed to be hunting every minute we were there.
Right? Yeah.
And so for everybody listening, I highly do not recommend doing a 5 day safari.
No.
Yeah, it was I still don't get me wrong, I still had a great time. But I felt rushed and every second we weren't hunting, I felt like we needed to be doing something and
Mhm.
it just was not a good time in that aspect.
Yeah, it's a good
Uh,
point. It's a good point you bring out because there's a lot of times when obviously if you wound an animal, you're going to eat up a day and a half going after them. If you've got to travel to different concessions, that eats up a couple of hours time. So that 5 days, that really, really does get short, specifically like with a lot of the animals that you were mentioning too. Um, and also there's days where you're not going to shoot anything.
yeah,
And sometimes those are the fun days because you get to sit back, you get to see other animals. Maybe you get to just tour the concessions a bit and actually appreciate being out there. But yes, I would agree with you. 5 days it's tight. I've done a couple of them, and it definitely is rushed for sure.
yeah, yeah. So, and I had a buddy with me and we were hunting, 2 on 1 on this trip. And so with him being there and me,
Right.
it just felt so rushed. And so I got that sable down.
Guys, I'm going to interrupt this episode for just a quick minute because I got something cool to announce. As you can see over my shoulder, with this big thunderstorm rolling in, we've had some great rains out here in West Texas. And that usually means one thing: we're going to have a really good hunting season. I've been driving around, checking on the cattle, checking on the fencing, checking everything on the ranch, and I cannot get over how many deer we're seeing. And they are in incredible condition. The buck are ready in their velvet, and it is looking good. So, if you guys are like me, I've always thought it's never too early to plan for hunting season. We are running a little bit of a special at the moment here on the ranch. It is a buck and a doe combo for a weekend hunt. So that's Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday morning. So if you are looking for a good, honest, traditional, low fence, West Texas whitetail hunt, then get in touch with me by my email, johnomcque@gmail.com. I'll send you all the details and you can come and hunt whitetail here on the ranch with me. We got everything. We got the blinds, we got the feeders. I personally prefer a little bit of walk and stalk hunting. So if you're looking to fill your freezer, or maybe you're looking to get the kiddos into hunting, maybe they can shoot their first doe or buck, this is the place to do it. We have only got a few limited spots available for the end of this year. So don't delay. Get in touch with me today and we'll try and put together a really cool West Texas whitetail hunt for you guys. Okay, let's get back to that episode. Cheers, guys.
And then my buddy, he was down ho and determined, bow only. So then trying to put, a stalk on something to try to get him with on something with the bow, ate a lot of time up.
Mm-hmm.
And so then after I got the sable, we went 2 days without shooting anything.
Ooh, on a 5 day
Yeah,
trip. Wow.
yeah, yeah. And so this is what I mean, like it really got into, because we were looking for kudu. And of course last year they got a lot of rain too, and so the brush is so super thick. And yeah, so we ended up seeing 3 kudu bulls in 5 days,
Okay.
and I never got a shot on one. We were within 40 yards of one time. It just shows you how good they blend in
Yep.
because the tracker that we had on that trip was out of this world good. Um, and he throws up the sticks and he's like, right there, right there. And I'm like, I don't see anything, dude. And I'm looking through the scope, looking, and he's like, right there. And about the time he goes like this, cootie bull just spins and runs away. I'm like,
Ouch.
man. And he was 50 yards from us, and I could not see him, standing perfectly broadside.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, but it still ended up, I got the sable, I got a 24.5 inch black Impala.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, he's a real nice one. I got a blue wildebeest, um, and I got the giraffe, and I got a
Okay.
common Impala too on that trip. So even though we didn't shoot anything for those 2 days, I still stacked them up pretty good.
Yeah, and listen, each one of those animals, they provide a difficult hunt in their own right too. I mean, none
Oh
of
yeah.
those are just a pushover for sure. I'm sure that wildebeest,
Oh gosh.
how did that hunt pan out? That couldn't have just been a walk in the park for sure.
No, the farm that the lodge is on is the owner's property, and it's just like I think it's like a couple 100 acre property, and he has
Okay.
a bunch of wildebeest and a bunch of impala there. So it's kind of a small property,
Right.
but there was very little like plains or like, where you could actually, stalk and everything. And a lot of it was in a mountain. And so every time you tried to make a stalk on the wildebeest or something, boom, right up the mountain they went.
Oh,
And the mountain was so thick you couldn't even see anything.
hmm. And they
So,
know that. They
oh
know that
yeah.
too. I guarantee you they know that. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So the day I actually got my blue wildebeest, my buddy shot a Niala. And like this goes back to the brush being so thick. I don't know how he did it, but he ended up shooting it in the ass.
With his bow, I'm guessing,
No,
obviously.
he picked up a rifle then. By
Yeah.
this point, he picked up the rifle because I'm like, dude, just put the bow down. Just, and because the brush is so thick, you're not getting an arrow through there anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he picked up the rifle and ended up shooting this night and a terrible shot.
Ouch.
And we were tracking that thing and tracking it, and it ended up like going over into a corner of the property, and we kind of like surrounded the area he ran into, and it was like, if someone sees him, shoot him,
Yeah.
put him down. And so one of the other guys the Niala bull ended up running out to him, and he got a quick shot on it and dropped it. Well, in the meantime, one of the other guys was like, "Oh, I saw blue wildebeest, out, the whole herd out in the field. Let's go over there." So we get over there, and we drive the truck over, and it's kind of you go over this hill, and it opens up, and that's where the blue wildebeest were. Well, we no sooner got to like going up the hill, and we looked off to the right, and they were I guess they had heard the truck coming, and they just took off running, and they were like 200 yards, and I was on the bull I shot. I was on them, but there was a golden standing right in front of them.
Whew.
And so when that blue wildebeest took off running and got out from behind that golden, I just squeezed it off, and you just heard it smack. And I'm like, well, I got him, and he ended up running down a couple 100 yards, and he stopped again, and I just let him have it again. And so he ran up into the mountain where they all felt safe at, and we're like, well, let's just give him some time, hopefully he'll lay down and he won't, take us for a ride around the mountain.
Yep.
And we came back 2 hours later, and he was laying 10 yards off the road. He just walked right up into the thick stuff and laid down, and there he was.
Okay.
It was,
Lucky. That's good.
yeah, it was a crazy, everything was just, I mean, I still remember it vividly how it, I could picture it all in my head. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was crazy.
What caliber was this? Because you used a 308 on your first trip. So what, we're using the same for this one?
6.5 PRC.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
And your shots on that wildebeest, kind of middle of the shoulder, you just thumped him right there in that good spot.
So the first shot, he was slightly quartering away. It went in, back and came up.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
the second shot was same kind of scenario. We actually found both bullets lodged in his shoulder.
Okay. So you got real good sort of deep penetration through and was
Oh
passing
yeah,
through completely. That's good.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's such a strong, muscular animal. I think a lot of
Oh
people don't
gosh,
realize that front shoulder on a wildebeest and that neck too. And there's a lot of muscle in there.
yeah, and they're huge. Like I pictured them being a little bit smaller because I had only seen a couple, and it was just in glances on my first trip. But yeah, once you get up to them, they are huge,
Yeah. Yeah.
big
They're big,
stout
strong beasts.
bodies.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much so. But that's cool. And beautiful, beautiful animals too. They got so much
Oh yeah,
characteristics on them.
yeah. I got him. He's pet wall pedestal is how I got blue wildebeest and the sable both mounted. There's
Okay.
it was supposed to. I was hoping that they would be here by now, but they were supposed to ship in June. Then it got pushed back to July because of the giraffe. I did not want to pay that air shipping bill, and
I
so
don't blame you.
these ones are coming in by boat.
Okay. Yeah. Pretty standard
And
usually.
yeah, and so yeah, I got the blue wildebeest and the sable both wall pedestal, so I have that nice colors in there.
Hmm. Oh, that'll be nice. That'll be really
Yeah,
cool.
the
And
black wild.
the giraffe, how did that pan
Oh,
out? Because that's, I think I actually might have seen a photo of it on Facebook, and that's
no,
a
really.
real beauty too. Yeah, very nice giraffe. What happened with that hunt?
So there's a landowner that owned the farm across the street, and one of the other PHs, I just kept hearing them, talk about giraffe this, giraffe that. And I'm like, you know what? Giraffe is, actually on, I would love to take a giraffe. What's the price? And he said that, well, there's a problem bull. There's two bulls over there, and there was like 7 or 8 cows. And they're like, the two bulls keep fighting each other, and one of them's going to end up, you know, killing the other one. So the dude looking to take one of them out. I'm like, well, what, he said $2,000. I said, sold, let's go. And
Wow.
yeah, so that's basically we went over and met up with the property owner there across the street, and he took us into his farm. And the only thing we were there to do was the giraffe because I could have went crazy over there. There was giant kudu. Just it seemed like
Oh, classic. Hey.
yeah. I'm like it seemed like every turn you went around there was just a giant bull just standing there. I'm like, oh gosh, this is torture.
I was
And
gonna say that must have driven you
oh
absolutely mad, man.
yeah, at one point I'm like, how much does he want for a kudu? I will pay it. And they're like, no. And so it ended up finding these group of giraffe, and they were actually the two bulls were looked like they had just got done fighting. They were standing right next to each other when we ended up finding them. And one of the other guys in camp, he had a Christensen Arms 338 Lapua
Ooh, okay,
that he
nice.
had brought over. I'm like, hey, you mind if I borrow that? And so that's what I ended up shooting that giraffe with. I can send you the video. I got it all on video.
Yeah, please do.
And I shot him, and I just, PH said, about a foot and a half down from his, head and the neck, and he'll just drop. And uh, I that 338 Lapua, I put him right in his neck, and he just crumpled.
Okay, so he was saying like a foot and a half down from its chin almost, and then
Yeah,
center of the neck.
yep.
Okay, that's cool. And it dropped right there, just down.
Oh, just done.
Interesting. Nice.
Yeah. Have you never shot any like
No,
that
no,
before?
we've always just gone, sort of that middle of
In
the
the
chest.
chest?
Where they got those big shoulders coming
Yeah,
forward. It almost looks like it's got a huge set of tits almost. It's like a big,
yeah,
and then the muscle comes in, and a giraffe's heart is really big,
yeah,
and it kind of sits forward. So I wouldn't say it's an easy shot because it's not, but we've just always said, put it in there. You're almost guaranteed to hit the heart. But that's a new for me. I've never known there on the neck. That's pretty interesting.
yeah. I guess basically where his spine comes up through his neck,
Yeah, it must
and
be. And then probably all those arteries and everything just get pushed up through there. Huh.
yeah,
Well, there
he
you go.
was
Learn
done.
something new.
Yeah, I shot him in the neck, and he just dropped. And I just kind of was just like, oh, I just shot a fucking giraffe. Like, let's go. And so yeah, I got him. He's going to be mounted down here too. It's 7.5 foot tall. mount coming of him.
Dude,
I
now
tell,
that is a big animal, hey?
oh yeah, huge. It
That is a
took
big animal.
just to lean him up for pictures. It took like I want to say like 10 of us. Just absolutely huge.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
was
I always
crazy.
remember every time we did a giraffe hunt, I always had like a specific time when we would shoot the giraffe. And I remember there was one I've shot, I think I've probably shot 8 or 10 giraffe. And there was one client that he kind of in a roundabout way called me out on thinking this was some sort of canned giraffe hunt because I said to him, listen, the first thing we do is we're gonna go to the giraffe, it's gonna be here, and we're gonna shoot it and it's gonna go down. And it worked out well. And the reason why he thought it was kind of canned is because as it dropped, I radioed in and this truckload of like 10 skinners just came in.
Yeah.
And the taxidermist we worked with too, he actually said, like, let me know when the giraffe is down. I'll bring my guys and we'll start skinning it out. So as soon as this giraffe hit the floor, there was just like this army of trackers that came in. And now, as I'm sure you can see, it takes a long time to skin out a giraffe and do it
It takes
properly.
an
And I said
army,
to him,
that's for sure.
this is why I have all those people on standby because it just takes so long. And yeah, you have to. And it's just massive. The meat afterwards, too, is a whole thing on its own just to load that.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing, I loaded up. I mean, it took up a whole bed of the pickup truck stacked all the way to the top of the high rack.
Yeah, unbelievable. Massive, massive animals. But yeah, so that must have been a cool hunt. You obviously got some really cool photos with it then, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've got several. I can send them to you too. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be so cool.
So my buddy ended up getting a Niala and he shot a golden wildebeest, beautiful golden wildebeest.
Nice.
And then he shot a common Impala too. And then on the last day of the hunt, um, we had kept seeing the black Impala, kind of like the Steenbuck situation, you know.
Hmm.
It is what it is. And they kept telling me, no, that's a monster black Impala, you need to take them. I'm like, okay, well, we'll save it for the last day. And so here came the last day, and obviously very quick in 5 days. And I we went over to this other farm that the he had black Impala, where the farm where I shot my sable at,
Hmm.
and he had black Impala, red hartebeest, water buck, wildebeest running everywhere. Um, and we found the black Impala, and he would they would he was with it was he was the only ram out of all of it, and so he took the ewes and ran into the thick stuff, and then we'd circle around hoping he'd come out the other side. Well, then he would run back that way, and it just was cat and mouse for like an hour and a half. And he finally, we I sat at one spot, one end of the block of woods they kept running in, and we sent the trackers around and kind of did like a man drive almost.
Sure.
And he came running out, and I was whistling that for him to stop, and he was just hauling ass. And they ended up stopping out there like 200, 250 yards. And I ended up just putting a perfect shot on him, little high shoulder, and he just dropped right in his
Oh, nice.
tracks.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was always a big fan of those slightly high shoulder shots. I don't know why, for some reason, man, the animals just they drop right there with that high shoulder hit.
Yeah. Easy tracking job.
Yeah, it definitely is. But it's also a bit of a danger zone. You go just another
Oh,
inch or
yeah.
two slightly higher, and you kind of get that dead meat area where you're not hitting the lungs, you're not hitting the spine,
Yeah.
but
Just
just a
like
little
on
bit
a
lower than that.
whitetail.
Yes, yes, 100%.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that was that trip. And, I had already been talking to Mark about going over there after I'd already had this hunt booked, because I'm like, if I could have it my way, I would go every year, but I
Sure.
just can't financially afford that right now with all the kids and everything going on, and everything's getting so expensive here, and
Hmm.
so yeah. And I started talking with Mark. Um, like I said, I think he opened up his business over there in 2024, so he's kind of new to his outfitter over there, and
Okay.
so I have it booked to go over there April 2028, and
Right.
I cannot wait. I think Buffalo is finally going to be on the list.
That's exciting, man. I've enjoyed your story because just kind of playing through my head as an ex outfitter. It's interesting. Your first trip, you didn't really know anything about the outfitter. It was just going with your buddy, and then he couldn't make it. And obviously, not to say that it wasn't a good trip or a good outfitter, but he was obviously, as you said, suited for buffalo. So that was like his thing. But you weren't
Yeah.
quite there. Then your second trip, you obviously had an idea of what you wanted to hunt. Sure, time was a little bit tight, but you kind of made things work. But now it seems like your third trip, you've obviously learned from these past two trips. You're chatting with the outfitter, you're planning ahead, and I'm sure it's going to be a phenomenal trip.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I cannot wait. It can't get. I'm actually trying to get. I know two of my buddies are committed to going, and it'll be their first trips to South Africa. So that'll be a blast just in itself, right there. Having other people, I've kind of got the. I know I've only been on two, but I kind of know the gist of how it all works,
Right.
and seeing the probably the looks on their faces when they see all these animals, and they get to shoot their first impala or kudu or whatever they decide to go after is going to be awesome.
And I'm not I'm not much of a betting man, but I do like making predictions, and I know how these types of things have worked. I've had clients in the past that have had the same type of thing. They've either come out for two or three trips going for a bushbuck and never got one, or going for a kudu and never got one. And it always seems like on that third trip seems to be the time when they come right. So I'll be
I'm
keeping fingers crossed for you, man. And I
gonna.
better be the first person you send that trophy photo to of a
Oh
kudu.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be dialed in. That's for sure. I the before we he already knows kudu's number one. Like we're going after kudu, and we're gonna get a big bull
Yeah,
because those from all the pictures I've seen, those KwaZulu Natal free range kudu bulls are crazy.
yeah.
And and I'm going over in April, so rut, be going on hopefully, and
Yeah, it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time of year. They're probably just going to be on the back end of their rains too, so it's going to be nice and green. Those kudu are going to be in fantastic condition. And
yeah,
it is tough hunting. It's the Eastern Cape is pretty mountainous where we hunted, and those kudu bulls used to climbing mountains, and they get, I wouldn't say slender, but they're kind of a little bit more leaner framed than the kudu up in Limpopo and the flatter areas where it's just going to be these big muscular ones. But the ones in KwaZulu Natal, man, I don't know what they're eating in, but because they climb mountains, but they just tend to hold this big mass on them too. Big,
and their
thick neck,
necks,
strong shoulders. Yeah,
yes,
they've such an impressive animal that even though they're climbing these mountains, they're so big and bulky. It's phenomenal. And I've seen a lot of I've hunted KZN myself, which is an incredible area, but I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube of the things that they're pulling out of these mountains in KwaZulu Natal, and it's just phenomenal.
oh yeah, yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I think I'm gonna got Cape Buffalo, kudu. I got to get one of those Nyalas because that
Yes.
for some reason it's like the Eastern Cape and KZN and all that. Their Nyala just seem top notch. You always see them come up and they got those flares. You don't really see big ones like that coming out of like Limpopo very often.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the very nature of that coastal, thicket, dense, sort of almost
Yeah,
foresty type of environment. It's absolutely perfect for Nyala, and they love it, and they just thrive in there, especially with them being browsers. There's a lot more sort of browse material up there. But their
yeah.
coats too, they get that pitch black coat, and then a lot of those white
Mhm.
chevrons and stripes. Stunning animal. Yeah, I hope
Yeah,
you connect with one too, because it's to get in Nyala and KwaZulu Natal is such a cool thing.
yeah. So that I got. So what? Kudu, Nyala. Uh, I haven't had a chance at a Gemsbuck yet, and I really want one. So I'm gonna Gemsbuck's definitely high on the list too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, always an exciting animal to go after too.
I was actually listening to a podcast. Like I said, I've listened to a majority of your podcasts, and I was listening to one earlier today because that's all I do at work is just pop in an earbud and just listen to
Right.
podcasts all day. And you were talking about how Gemsbuck and how you don't even like to send your dog in on them because they just have those horns and
Mhm.
they'll just come at you if they get cornered. You feel like
Yeah, you do. I've heard many stories of just horrible dogs, or horrible incidents rather, of dogs just getting impaled by them. There was can't remember who told it to me. I think it might have been one of the guys that worked with me, one of the PHs, and they were saying that they had a gemsbuck cornered, the dog had a corner, they called the dog off, and he actually picked up a rock and he threw it at the gemsbuck, and with its horn, that gemsbuck went and hit it almost like a baseball and just knocked
Mm,
it straight out the way. And he threw another one and it did the exact same thing. So they are so accurate with those horns. It's scary.
yeah,
But
yeah,
you do not get a boring gemsbuck hunt too, if I can say that.
yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I'm definitely gonna, you know, I've seen some of the bush buck they pull out of there too, so that's probably going to be on the list as well because there's some. I've seen some monster bush buck trophy pictures coming out of there too. So
Yeah, that's a good choice. Definitely, I would never be able to pass up on a bushbuck. Look, I know you've got your kids are young at the moment, so probably not quite thinking about this yet. But surely your boys are going to be seeing all these trophies stacked up on the wall, and one day they're going to come to you and say, "Dad, come on,
yeah,
take me to Africa."
yeah. I already promised my. So if 2028, I promised him that I would take him when he turned 10. My oldest son, he's not really into hunting, but I mean he'll go, but he's not really into it. My 9-year-old son, I told him when he turned 10, I would take him to Africa. So we'll see. I told him he's got to shoot a doe or something here first before, I'll, pay for him to shoot that animal over there. But
Yeah,
but yeah, so hopefully I need to get them like a little right now they just have a 410 and 22s and
yeah,
stuff like that. So I need to get them like a little 243 or even maybe like a 6.5 Creedmoor, for around here to shoot at some does and stuff to get them more dialed in. The thing is, he's so scared of the recoil, right? Because when he was younger, I put the funny story. I have a single shot 410 and I put it on the bog pod and it's got that little turn knob where you can
yep.
crank it down on there. And he shot the 410s when we were getting ready for turkey season. He's like, Dad, I want to shoot a turkey. I'm like, all right, well, you got to, show to me that you can shoot the gun. And I thought I had it all cranked down on there that the gun wasn't going to come out. And it came back and smacked him right in the forehead.
Oh no!
And at this point, he's like, I think he was like 6 or 5 years old. And so that kind of, you know, rubbed him the wrong way a little bit because
Oh,
I'm
that's
sure it did hurt.
unfortunate. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Oh, unlucky for the little guy. It'll take a while
Yeah.
for him to get confidence in the gun again. My boy and I were actually busy filming little videos now of sort of training kids and gun etiquette and stuff because he had the exact same thing. Um, Recoil was his biggest problem. It's just noises in general, very, very loud, which is crazy for a kid that rides dirt bikes. It still drives me
Right.
mad. I'm like, dude, your KTM sounds 10 times as loud as this thing. Just shoot the gun. But anyway,
Yeah.
so we're busy kind of making one of those things. But yeah, it's funny with kids at this age, like one little thing that kind of spooks them sets you back like 5 steps, doesn't it? And you kind of got
Yeah.
to start
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but
go ahead.
no, no, sorry, you go.
No. Yeah. I took one of my buddies I work with, he has a property that I turkey hunt a lot at. And I took him out there, I think when he was 7, and he smoked a turkey. It was
Oh,
like
nice.
15 yards with the 20 gauge. So I'm like, dude, you shot the 20 gauge with the turkey load in there. You're good to go. Like you just, I got to get him. I need to put a little, like right now, he just has iron sights on his 22.
Hmm.
And we stand, I've got like 100-yard shooting range at my in-laws house.
Okay.
And I'll put up like balloons up there for the kids to shoot, something a little interactive instead of just shooting at a paper target.
Yeah.
And he smokes the balloons at like 20 yards with his open sight 22. So I'm like, all right, we're starting to get there, but we need to
Yeah.
incorporate a scope in and
Yeah. It makes sense. Little steps, little steps. Just
yeah,
kind of build up from there. What I was going to say is, never mind taking your kids to Africa. Don't forget that trip you got to take for your wife to go and spoil her, take her Cape Town, do shopping, all the beautiful golden beaches, and spoil her there too. So she's
oh,
not going to be missing out on this trip.
I've been telling her like ever since I got back from the first trip, I'm like, you need to come. And she is they just got back from Florida. They went down to Disney.
Oh no.
My youngest son, he has type 1 diabetes,
Okay.
and they have like it's called Friends for Life at Disney, and it's like a whole diabetic convention
All
for
right.
kids, people with type 1 diabetes. And so they were down there all last week. And it's like an hour and a half flight, and she's messaging me, oh my gosh, they just told us to put our seatbelts on, the turbulence. I'm
Oh,
like,
I see.
I'm
Okay.
like, I don't know if I can deal with that John O for 15 hours to drive up.
Yeah. Well, like we were saying, baby steps, baby steps. You got to build up to those things.
Yeah, but it's gonna be pretty cool. Like I keep on. So my son's getting a service dog. It's actually diabetic alert dog, so it'll
Wow.
sniff
Okay.
out so like low blood sugars, high blood sugars. And the trainer is out in Idaho, and he keeps messaging me. I kind of like this Africa thing, and then his wife messaging me, oh, I kind of want to book a hunt for him in 2029 in Africa. I'm like, let's go. I'm ready. Come a
Uh,
year sooner and come with me. You know.
that's good, man. That's good. Hearing it firsthand from other people that have been to Africa is still the best sort of form of marketing
Yeah.
that anyone else can get. So, hey, man, hopefully they decide to go because it's man, it's such a good
Oh,
time.
yeah. I've been to Colorado, I've been to Wyoming, and I mean, I'm building my points in Wyoming for, maybe one day I'll go out there elk hunting. I've been antelope hunting out there. I've got one, and I want to get a mule deer and a elk. But I'm like, I'll just keep building points. All that shit's on the back burner right now because I'm too ate up with
Right.
Africa.
Right. You know, one of the things that I've always wanted for this podcast is to try and encourage more people to go for the first time. And it's been fantastic. And I get maybe 2 or 3 emails a week from people kind of saying, like, listen to your podcast, want to go, been changed to this outfitter. What's it like? And I always think, I don't know what to say. I don't
Yeah,
know what to explain to you guys. I can't talk about what it's going to be like sitting around the fire at night and hearing those birds and smelling the smoke and looking at the stars after you've just walked your ass off after a kudu ball. I can't put that into words what those feelings are like. But you're
yeah.
going to experience that type of stuff, and I'm sure you know what I'm trying to get at.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, no words can describe, how awesome it is and how free it feels out there and just everything about it.
Well, dude, I think we might have to end on there because as being a father of some kids, I know mine are pretty feral at the moment, running around. I need to go and tackle them and try and convince them to get into bed. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm sure it's pretty much the same there for you. But listen, if anybody's considering Africa and they want to reach out to you and ask you some questions, can they do that? And if so, how
Oh
do they
yeah.
do that?
Facebook, Instagram. I think my Instagram handle is just Nathan_Lunceford. And then on Facebook, just look for Nathan Lunceford with a bunch of kids and a wife in a picture.
That's awesome, man. I love it. Well, listen, Nathan, please, like I said, I better be one of the first people you send that trophy photo of you behind that big. I'm gonna call it 52 3/4 inch kudu bull for you. Hopefully it
I'm
comes
hoping.
true.
I'm hoping.
Listen, once again, man, thank you very much for doing this. And it was an absolute pleasure having you on.
Yeah, you too, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate it.